She's asleep,
Oh
but who knows?
no, that's absolutely fine. We've had all sorts in the background before.
I can
Farron,
imagine.
thank you very much for coming on. It's lovely to see you over the interwebs. One thing
Indeed.
that does annoy me, I had a phone call with my friend Steve the other day from Defiant. I think you know him. And we were talking
Mhm.
about things that just generally just things that annoy us. And one of the things is when people purposefully say the wrong word about something. And I get the feeling that interwebs is one of those that people say it on purpose just to be different. Do you know what I mean by that?
I think I'm slightly older than you, and interweb was a thing at one point,
Mm.
so it was used. It's just like LOL used to mean lots of love, and now
Yes.
it
Yeah,
means
yeah, yeah.
something completely different. So yeah,
Yeah. It's like my dad, instead of home base, I think he was at Best Buy, or he'll call it what it used to be called, but he'll do it on
exactly.
purpose. It's been
But
home
it's
base
like a
for like
marathon and
Snickers.
Snickers.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
use the word Hoover. There's no
Yeah.
such thing as Hoovers here where I'm based. So
No, I guess like sometimes it's synonymous with the actual bit of kit, isn't it? I guess
mm,
a
yeah,
little bit like CrossFit being the name for functional fitness.
exactly,
Mm,
exactly.
yeah, so that's a good segue into the topic at
It's
hand.
what we're talking about.
Yes, so Farron, I was first made aware of what you do in the company and Virtuous Coach Development online, obviously on Instagram and that kind of thing. And then I had the pleasure of catching you for 5 minutes at Coaches Congress when you weren't swamped off your feet talking to people all weekend. Um, so it'll be really good to actually dive deep into some topics today and
Yes.
have a good chat about certain things. But before we do that, like I just want to touch on Coaches Congress because I
Mhm.
bang on about it all the time, and I'm very fortunate where I'm connected to them now as the UK ambassador. So I will talk about it all day long. However,
Right.
as 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 part of the coaching crew, part of like the
Mhm.
you're affiliated with CrossFit through the further development and license there. What what is it about Coaches Congress that you feel as a coach and as an affiliate owner that people can get when they
Mhm.
what's the primary motivation for going to something like Coaches Congress?
I think it originally stems from an idea from somebody who worked as a teacher for years. And
Mm,
as teachers, you can be very alone in your own island in the classroom as such. And every subject group would come together every year and just to talk about things, share stories, share knowledge, share things like that, whether you were talking about mathematics or physical education or whatever. And so the teacher, he was like, oh, do you know what? We need to do this for coaches and affiliate owners because there's so much knowledge out there and so much experience out there. And if we only connected with each other, we would feel less alone and we'd feel like there's other people out there who understand exactly what it's like that we're going through. Because, yes, our partner might listen to our stories or our family or whatever, but it's very different than when you talk to another coach who's confronted with exactly the same problems as you, maybe different context, different members, but they've been through that. They've walked in your shoes. And being able to connect with others also creates a much more sustainable ecosystem. It
mm,
helps us in those hard days. You know, I have coaches around the world that I can ring up and go, "Oh my God, this happened," da, 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 da. And we can talk through it. You can feel like you can share the burden for want of
yes.
the description. And I think the other part is in the CrossFit space, for whatever reasons, we have a habit of wanting to reinvent the wheel. We want, we think we have to do it our own way because we're different, our members are different, our context is different, whatever it is. And yeah, it's true. We're all different. But it is gives you so much of a head start if somebody else shares with what they've done, what they've experienced, because then maybe, yeah, you have the general shape of the wheel already in place and all the things, and all you're doing is putting the tread in slightly differently. That's it.
Mm,
And how much time and energy would that save us all? Yeah, so I'm a big
yes.
believer in we need to connect with each other and to not to feel like we belong to a bigger thing. and also to
Mm.
learn from each other. Yeah, because even a coach who's only coached for 6 months has had a very different experience to me. And I can still learn something from them. They might have different cues of a different way of handling things, or they came from a completely different sport background, like ice skating. Yeah. And so they come with a different knowledge base than what I would, as such. So, yeah,
Yes.
there we go.
No,
That was a
that's
very long story.
no, and a few great, really good points there. I think that the connectivity is a big deal for me. I
Mhm.
talked about this. I had Henrik on the show before, we went to Twickenham, and I've
Mhm.
spoken to different people about this word connectivity, and we see it in different ways and terms, but um, whether it's people calling it culture, whether it's community, whatever it might be, we're
Mhm.
in a unique position with the CrossFit gyms where we have this, and this is
Yes.
that's the same for everyone that does CrossFit. So
Mhm.
the reason we enjoy CrossFit is because it's a scientific methodology. It's observable, measurable, repeatable. We have the method there in a book.
Yeah.
How we deploy that and how we deliver it is the variance between the different gyms and the styles and the coaches. And I think one thing
Yeah.
that you touched on at the beginning there was really cool, was that we try and reinvent the wheel, and for sometimes for good reason, in terms of the delivery and the coaching, I think, because the
Mhm.
market has changed
So
immensely.
much. Hmm.
And I think CrossFit gyms and CrossFit HQ, we're hoisted by our own petard. I say I include myself in CrossFit because I'm a CrossFit trainer, and I'm CrossFit, and I've signed up for the Open. Um, the- we've created this monster.
Yeah.
And originally, the people like myself that owned affiliates back in, 10, 12 years ago, I'll be honest, I wasn't perfect. I was a little bit
Hmm.
shit. But I cared immensely. Every
Yeah.
session that I went to, I gave it my all. And my all wasn't perfect. I probably was bad at coaching at the start. I probably gave the wrong cues. My tone I've watched a couple of videos back from 10, 12, 13 years ago, and I'm like, oh, cringe. Like, why did you
Yeah.
talk to that person that way? Like, you're a
Mm.
28-year-old at the time, like 12, 13 years ago, you're talking to a 50-year-old about why they can't do this. And it's like, oh, like, but the reason I was there, the reason I showed up at 5 o'clock sessions, the
Hmm.
reason I left my full-time job, the reason I was affiliated, the reason I did all that and took a half pay cut was because I gave a shit. And I cleaned the
Yeah.
toilets and I showed up and I spent hours talking to people about their problems, and not to be specific or anything, but like, there was one night at 1 a.m. where my coach and I were on a conference call with one of our members that was stood on
Amazing.
top of a bridge and was ready to jump.
Yeah.
We've been to weddings, we've been to baptisms, been to funerals, we've been on holidays
Mhm.
with people, we've got lifelong friends, and it's because we give a shit. It's because we care
Yeah.
immensely. And 10, 12 years ago, we weren't the best programmers. We weren't the best technical coaches. We weren't, and
Yep.
to top it all, we were by far, probably in my group of mates that from school, I was the worst business person, the worst businessman in the world. I had not a clue how to run a business, but I got through it through trial and error
Mhm.
because we had this unique
Yeah.
thing no one else was doing. And it was like, oh, you go there if you want it. And I learned, and it was
Mhm.
trial and error. And I had that opportunity. I feel like now the market's caught up. Other people are
Yes.
doing what we do.
Mhm.
They have opened up functional fitness gyms, hybrid gyms, open gyms where you can go and they've got a functional fitness area. Pure Gym have opened up their functional. The
Yeah.
market's caught
With
up.
barbells and globo gyms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And bumper plates and lifting platforms that you get told not to lift on and dump bars. But the market's caught up, kind of.
Mhm.
It's got the same kit, but as
Yeah.
far as coaching, methodology, environment, community, background, legacy, they don't have that. We still
Mhm.
maintain the name of that, and that's why the name matters more than
Mhm.
anything, more than ever now. being able to be called CrossFit.
Mhm.
That distinguishes us away from the rest of the market that we're caught up with, the better business people, uh,
Yeah.
with the better timetables, with the money, the millionaires that are coming in and investing in just random like functional fitness gyms that can pay coaches £100 an hour, you know. But
Mhm.
we have the care, we give a shit. So for me, Coaches Congress, when I turned up there, it was all those people that give a shit. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, you know.
I always say is people who turn up to Coaches Congress, and I arrange coaches gatherings here locally
Mm,
for local coaches to get together. People who turn up for that are the people who care deeply, not only about their members, but also how they show up as a coach, as an owner. I always say, people always say, oh, you need to care. I was like, yeah, you need to care, but you also need to be curious. And if you're not curious about your members, about your own ability as a coach, about your own ability as an owner, you're not curious how other people do it, you're never going to grow. People are going to
mm,
outgrow you. Your members will outgrow you. They might find something else. Your team might outgrow you because you're not giving them what they need to grow further. Yeah. And your business might outgrow you in the sense of you haven't grown as a business person to make it sustainable. And so, yeah, it might last those 2, 3 years initially, but making sure it lasts those 5, 10, 15 years, that's a whole different story. And if you don't remain curious, you're just going to stagnate and be left
mm,
behind. And I
yeah.
think this is also one of the risks we have in CrossFit because of the legacy we have and how it got to the point where we are now. Just because that was the way we did it does not necessarily mean that is the way we need to do it now. So I agree with a rising tide raises all ships and stuff like that.
Mm,
Absolutely. But I think I think more and more affiliate owners and coaches need to see each other as colleagues and not as competitors. We are all fighting against, Netflix and things like that. And we're all on the same team. And yes, it can be scary that an affiliate or a gym opens less than a kilometer away. That can be scary. But
mm,
you should also take it as an opportunity of, okay, I'm going to make sure I deliver real value to members. Yeah.
mm.
It should be seen as
Yes.
a challenge. It should be seen as someone that's just put a little bit of extra weight on your barbell.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And told you
Yeah.
now, go do the workout.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a great
but I
analogy.
understand it. Yeah, but I understand it because often, certainly, gym owners, we operate from a source of scarcity. Worried about
Mm,
where the money's coming in, where the next coach is going to be found, where the next member is coming in, things like that. And it's this scarcity can build up into this wanting to protect everything and protectionism and not being open. And once we get into
yeah.
that survival mode, it's hard to get out. And that's
Mm,
where, and I know it, and it's hard to ask for help. Our members have had a hard time asking for help. I mean, something was so horrible in their lives that they took the risk to walk into a CrossFit gym. They're not the friendliest things to walk into to start with. Yeah.
no.
So, but if they manage to do that and ask for help, we should also manage to recognize when we need help. And
Mm,
even if that help is having someone just to chat to, yeah,
yeah.
doesn't have to
100%.
be yeah, it doesn't have to be like a weekend seminar or a whole, 2-year trajectory with a business coach or anything like that. It's
Mm.
simply starting with connecting with others.
And it's funny, previous life, I worked for, I daren't say it again, but Coca-Cola. I worked for them for 4 years, right? Um, and after that, I worked for Miller Brands, so the parent company of like Peroni beers and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And I was in the corporate world, and I hated it every minute. Every minute I had to pretend to be. I was putting on this act of this suit and tie and selling, and
Mhm.
I didn't drink beer. And it was this facade, and it was all brag files about how good you are on
Yeah,
the intranet, so that your managers could see how development.
the
It was
self
the stuff.
promotion.
It was the stuff of nightmares for me, and I dreaded it.
Mhm.
But it was good money, right? And that was at that time in my life. That was what I was kind of aiming for. Um, and I've always been fairly good at addressing a crowd or a team or people through school events and that kind of thing. I've never had a problem with that. But in that environment, every time I prepared for a talk or a meeting or a presentation with a client or anything, I dreaded it because I didn't believe in what I was talking about. It wasn't in me it was a lie, basically. Fast forward to CrossFit. My favorite part of being a trainer, and this isn't cliche, and it's not for me just saying this for the sake of it. I absolutely love when a new person walks in and I get to do their induction or on ramp or foundations or anything like that, because I know what's ahead of them. And I get to be the person that introduces them to this thing that in 5 years they're going to remember when they walked in, and they're going to say how nervous they were, and they're going to say how embraced they felt. And that whole introduction to the front rack, all of that new stuff.
Yeah.
I love delivering that because I believe in it and I know it intimately and I've been through it, and it feels natural to talk about that kind of thing. And what I found in the people that care, the groups of people and connections that we make in CrossFit, and the best coaches, the best affiliate owners, which, by the way, I stand firm, they are the biggest influencers in our world, the coaches and the affiliate owners. They're the strongest influencers that we have. When you meet someone that cares in our little world, our little tiny little corner of the fitness industry, you know it immediately. It's instantly recognizable. And I want to bring up, this is going to be an amazing segue, by the way. This. So let me see. Talking
I'm
about,
glad I have my glasses on.
we're talking about virtuosity. So I want to come to the name of your company and your project. Virtuosity is, however, readily recognized by audience as well as coach and athlete. I want to bring us back to you.
Yeah.
Virtuosity. Can you tell me about why that means so much to you and why you've kind of come up with that name for what you do?
I think now I'm so glad you brought up that article, because it goes all the way back to the CrossFit level 1 as such, and that discussion of what is virtuosity, and that, it's that nearly undescribable level of wow, everything is on point to the detail where you don't even know what the details are that are on point. Yeah. It's very hard to describe, but as you said, it when you see it. And one of the reasons I picked the name Virtuous Coach Development is the idea that, just like with movement and virtuosity of movement, and we should strive for virtuosity of movement, we should strive for virtuosity in our coaching. Yeah. We can't just sit back and go, yeah, this is good enough. We need to be able to take those next steps and next levels, because like I said in the beginning, if we bring our coaching to here, our members get up to there, and then what? They've nowhere to go. Yeah, and they start getting bored, and you're just using the same cues the whole time. And if you're not always upping your game, there's nowhere for your members to go to as such. And so that's where the name came from, the drive came from. And it's also, I've worked in formal education for 15 years or so. And it's also the awareness that, none of us give a perfect class ever. There's always something somewhere that could be done differently, done better, whatever it might be. Yeah. And it's that promise to yourself also not to just lay on your laurels, not to just take it easy every single class and get lazy. It's that promise to yourself that I'm going to strive to be a more virtuous coach. Now, what that looks like is different for everybody. And I also want to recognize that our days where we have no energy to show up. Yeah. But virtuosity in coaching means, okay, then there are the moments that you rely on your habits and your systems that you've put in place to make sure that your coaching meets what your members need in the moment. And virtuosity also means awareness of when you cannot be virtuous.
Yeah.
When, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
I like that.
meta level stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
When it's simply not possible. Okay, I'm going to take a side track. I love the expression best hour of their day.
Hmm.
I love that expression. We want to give them best hour of the day. However, we cannot give 110% of ourselves every hour of every class. It is not sustainable. So we as coaches need to figure out, okay, how can I balance what's sustainable for me and virtuous for me versus what my members need? And that's always a balance, because I want coaches to have sustainable lifestyle as such. I don't want coaches burning out. And we've all met enough coaches who burnt out after 2 or 3 years, because coaches, we care and we take everything on board and we want to do our best, but we also have to accept that virtuosity in the moment might not look like virtuous coaching.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
No, I get what you mean.
For a Tuesday morning, it's a bit of a meta, maybe.
No, I like that. I heard someone talking the other day. I can't remember who it was, and they said, if you're questioning if you're evil, you're not evil, because evil doesn't question itself. And I can't remember what conversation. And it's the same thing with positives as well. Like you have to have the absence of it sometimes to acknowledge the fact that you're addressing it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and I'm really glad you said about the whole burnout thing, and because I talked to Andy a little while ago, and Edwards, and we were talking about kind of like being an affiliate owner. This was on the show, being an affiliate owner, and the juggle that we have in our space with trying to dish out coaching hours to get the right coaches in that want the right hours that suit us as affiliate owners, having a broad spectrum of coaches that want to develop on the side a lot of the time because they can't survive on 5 to 10 hours a week of coaching. How do we give them those hours and pay them enough around their full-time jobs? There's this really balancing act, and I think that the difficulty that affiliate owners have had in the past and currently is that they end up going, oh, I'll do those hours. I'll do that 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I'll do that Saturday morning. I'll do that Friday night lights, all of it. I'll take ownership of it. I'll do it all the gaps. And then the affiliate owners get the burnout. And then that passes on. It's like a virus burnout. It is.
Yeah.
When there's lack of a passion, that filters down.
It does. And it spreads quietly as well. You don't always notice that it's spreading. And next thing you know, there's just coaches who are just like, yeah, whatever. I've turned up. They turn up by, oh, I read what's on the workout on the whiteboard. Yeah, that's enough. And the members begin to feel it. And then you get to see that the retention, is dropping. Churn is increasing. Members disappear. And I do mean disappear. They just gently slide away. Yeah. Come a bit less
You get the
often.
odd email, the emails of, oh, I'd like to drop down to 2 a week. And that's the red flag for me. All right, you've got a month of that customer left. Like, where have you dropped the ball there? Like, obviously, there's going to be some times where they need to because life dictates it.
Yeah. I always say there's like 2 types of churn. There's the stuff we can't prevent. They're moving country. We're not going to stop the moving country to stay with us as an affiliate, but there's preventable churn. And that's where we have to be strict ourselves with what we mean by that. So if somebody says, oh, I have an injury, so I want to reduce or not come. Okay, but does that mean we're not adapting the workouts for their injury? There's something going on with our coaching that they don't feel like they can do CrossFit, because CrossFit is one of the sports everybody can do no matter what's going on in their bodies. We can always adapt. Or they say, I'm too busy. Okay, then there's maybe something in it that we haven't shown them the value of doing CrossFit in their lives. Yeah, I am busy just means that they haven't recognized the value of what we offer, or they're not experienced the value of what we offer to make it a priority as such. Yeah. Or if they say, oh, I want to try something new. Okay, so maybe they've hit a plateau. Why aren't the coaches pushing them further, developing more skills, challenging them in different ways, understanding how they can get them enthusiastic again about the sport? Yeah.
Mm.
So I always say these reasons for leaving, reducing, whatever, are also like a thermometer for what's going on inside of our
Mm.
affiliates. Yeah, what's going on with our coaching, what's going on with our member experience. They're all signs. And
Mm.
that's where we shouldn't just accept on the surface, oh, I have an injury, therefore I'm putting on pause. We should dig a bit deeper. We should be curious about, okay, what is it about this injury that's stopping you? It could be that maybe they have no way to get themselves to the box because, they're on crutches
Mm.
or whatever it might
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then maybe you should be offering them some home training or a Zoom session or whatever it might be to
Yeah.
keep them involved and keep them included. Yeah. So every time somebody says they want to change, lower their membership or leave or whatever, you should see it as an
Mm.
opportunity of how can I add more value to this person so that they stay?
Yeah.
And simply sending an email, oh, we haven't seen you in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's not going to work.
The okay. Recently, you've probably talked about this a lot and thought about it a lot. The argument around forging elite fitness, the recent marketing, the materials, the ads that went out, awesome. However, there has been a bit of kickback around from both sides of the spectrum, let's call it, of people saying, we aren't all inclusive. We aren't for everyone. We aren't
Mhm.
for people that are soft. We aren't for weaklings. We aren't for that kind of thing. And then you get the other side of the coin saying, which I tend to agree with. I see both sides here, and I would argue both to the other team here.
Mhm.
You get the other side saying, we forge elite fitness. People don't walk in with elite fitness, elite mindset. They're not elite when they come in.
Yep.
We forge it at our gyms. So
Mhm.
the reality of it is when people come in, our marketing, our appeal needs to demonstrate what people can reach in the gyms, but it needs
Mhm.
to hit the ears and eyes of people that aren't necessarily there now. So there's
Mhm.
this difference in approach. Now that's attraction and getting people in the doors. So that's selling it.
Mhm.
Now, in terms of retention, the people that are likely to want to try something else, the people that are likely to say, I've got an injury, I can't come in. I can't come in because I'm busy at work.
Mhm.
Are they of the elite mindset? Are they those people that are forging elite fitness?
Mhm.
Or are they haven't quite understood the assignment of what forging elite fitness is yet?
Mhm.
Would that be
I
right in what you're saying?
well, I'm going to take a bit of a sidestep because I
Okay.
think this brings us to a discussion that I've had a few times, and that um, when we talk about relationships with our members as such, and a lot of people in the space start talking about a coach athlete relationship, grounded in sports science. And maybe you've heard of the 3 Cs+1 framework of closeness, commitment, complementarity, and co creation, something like that.
Right.
And they sit firmly in tradition and focus of the conditions of a relationship, like do I trust you? Do I feel connected? Are we committed? So it's really like an coach athlete focus. And
Mm.
where an athlete is typically someone who organizes their life around performance. Training is a priority. Sleep, nutrition, recovery, consistency are actively managed to service this long term goal of performance improvement. Yeah? And I think that's where the elite side can start coming in, that we can start thinking elite means performance. But,
Okay.
and you know yourself, that's not the reality of the majority of CrossFit group classes.
No.
And many members train like an athlete for that hour. They work hard, they follow the programming, they show up, whatever it might be. But outside the gym, they don't live their lives like athletes. Training has to coexist with work and family, health, stress, energy limits, shifting priorities, stuff like that. And
Mm.
performance in CrossFit is not the driving factor in their lives, but sustainability is.
Mm.
Yeah. And so this is where the elite fitness comes in. Elite
Yeah.
fitness I see as sustainable within your life context.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's
Yep.
about being able to keep all those balls up in the air because I deeply believe in the methodology and its ability to help us improve long-term health and longevity. Yeah,
Yes.
for me, it's a no-brainer. And the more people we can get doing it, the better. And so the elite side of it is to see, okay, it's elite if you've managing to do this and keep all the other balls in the air.
Right. Okay.
Does, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
So, yeah, we're
my
spinning
context as
plates.
such. Yeah,
Yes.
we're spinning plates. And so I feel like when we look at our members only through this athlete lens,
Mm,
we tend to focus on programming, movement, performance, and we see maybe their choices. We might misread them as thinking it's a lack of commitment or motivational problems or things like that. But
mm,
if we take a step back and we zoom out and we look at our relationships in the form of like a learning relationship with them, and
yeah.
we look beyond the performance, we look towards the larger context that this person is living in, it shifts our focus away from delivering the content to responding to a person moment to moment. It's about how we adapt, how we make sense, how we decide, how we grow together in real terms. How do
Mhm.
we deliver the methodology to that person in front of us?
Mm,
Yeah. How do we help them being elite and keeping all the balls up in the air?
yes. And you know, probably better than I do. Um, I genuinely, I think there's a tipping point being a CrossFit trainer where you go from being a physical trainer
Mm.
into a resilience and psychological trainer for people.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so many times I can teach or tell people about a thruster or a wall ball or a depth of a squat. After that member has been with us for 3, 5 years, although I can sharpen my tools, I can refine my coaching technique, I can get better
Mm-hmm.
cues, I can further develop, I can learn new skills, I can learn about different ways to teach mechanics. I think we then become some sort of life coach for each of those members that we speak to,
Mm-hmm.
more than we are physical trainers. And that for me is where the burnout comes. I
Yeah.
don't ever get tired of teaching people how to do a front rack. I don't ever get tired
Mm-hmm.
of people saying to people, hip crease below top of your knee. What I get tired
You
of,
never get tired of telling them to squat deeper.
well, there is that, but and that could be a nice segue to our question that we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
The things that frustrate us about members. But I don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
negative at this point. The thing I think that gets burnout towards the longer term coaches and the affiliate owners is the amount of care and attention and listening ears, and the fact that we are psychiatrists. We're psychiatrists to 150 people, and
Mm-hmm.
we listen and we respect and we talk through
Hold
and we watch
space.
them stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the other thing, and this is me opening up a little bit here, and I've seen this with
Mm-hmm.
many other people. What ends up happening to cut trainers, and this loops back right to what you talked about at the beginning, is, and I'm going to use a strong word here, you get fed up of the way that people sound when they complain and moan. So what you end
Mm-hmm.
up doing is saying, I don't want to sound like them. I'm not going to tell anyone how I
Anybody.
feel. I'm not going to complain. I'm
Yeah.
not going to I'm not going to ask questions. I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
sound anything like the thing that I've come to not enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And you sit there at the classes and you take it again, and it reconfirms everything that you're thinking. So you
Yeah.
don't open up, so you don't share, so you don't talk to your spouse
Mm-hmm.
about what happened at work today, so that you don't go to these conferences where you think you're going to hear all that from other coaches and other brand
Yeah.
owners and people in the industry. But then you go to events, then you go to Coaches Congress, and you're surrounded by people that only want to develop, and you're like,
Yeah.
hang on a
Oh,
minute.
yeah.
Hang on a minute. This is on me. I don't have to, I can open up. It's good to talk. It's good to
Yeah.
vent. It's good to share ideas. I can get better. It's good to understand
Mhm.
from the likes of you, the likes of Chris Cooper, the likes of Mayhem, the likes of everyone else that was a keynote speaker at Twickenham,
Mhm.
how to thrive as a CrossFit gym, how to thrive as a
Mhm.
coach, how to thrive as a brand. It's all there. It just takes a little bit of self-awareness, like you said, and that key word here, virtuosity.
Yeah. Or at
It
least
keeps
the
coming back.
desire for it.
Mm,
But it's a double-edged sword, because if that's your only focus,
mm,
then you're going to burn out as well. If you're a perfectionist and you don't accept that humans are humans, life is
mm,
life, excuse my language, shit happens. Yeah.
mhm.
If you can't accept that and roll with the punches, that's also not healthy
Yeah.
as such. And I think it's really interesting what you said about, when people keep giving us stuff and like opening up. And I mean, often, yourself, we hear things before the rest of their family hears as such.
Hmm.
And there's some big stuff there. And I had a great conversation with somebody once who just, she's a psychologist, and she was describing how she deals with all the stuff gets put onto her. And she said, someone comes and shares something with you, and they're talking to you, and they hand you a football. So you take the football, you're holding the football, you're listening to the story, you're holding space for them and everything like that. And they walk away, and you're still holding this football. You need to actually decide, what are you going to do with this football? Are you
Mm,
going to place it on the ground in front of you and go, okay, I'll pick that up next time I talk to that person? Or are you going to carry it with you and go and walk over to the next person and have the same conversation again and take their football?
mm,
And it's like, we need to give ourselves permission to not bring that football with us.
mm.
That person doesn't expect us to bring the football with us. Different if it's a partner, that's a different discussion. But in our general
Yeah.
member relationship, they don't expect to bring the football with us, but they expect us to know what the football was.
Yeah. See, I had a different visual of the same kind of thing. See,
Mm-hmm.
I saw it as a wheelbarrow. So I'm walking
Mm.
around with the wheelbarrow, and everyone is putting stuff in that wheelbarrow. Every single member is putting stuff in that wheelbarrow, and you're navigating around life with this massive
Mm-hmm.
wheelbarrow of everyone's problems.
Yeah.
And every time you meet them, you have to stop. You have to dig through the wheelbarrow, find their thing that
And find out what it is.
that they held so dear to you, and they
Mm.
respected you and trusted you with this story or this information or this nugget
Yeah.
about their real life. And because you care deeply, and you think you understand that that level of trust is very, very well earned. You don't want to let
Yeah.
them down.
No.
Um, and so it's really tough to do that, like you said, to
Jake, what
not.
happens when your wheelbarrow's full?
Yeah, I know.
What do you do then?
Yeah, get another wheelbarrow.
And drag that
Buy,
along with you.
yeah, you buy a second
But
affiliate. Yeah.
yeah, but it's possibly. But this is one of the risks we have as coaches and owners, is that we care so much. We end up bringing this stuff along with us. And yeah,
Mm,
we do need to know what that person has said to us and things like that. But
yeah.
their expectation from us is generally to hold space for them, but it's not
Mm,
to carry the stuff for them.
right.
And
I
that,
see.
yeah,
Yes. And
but it
I,
takes, for a lot of people, it takes many years to navigate what that feels like for them
mm,
as a coach. Yeah. And of course, there will be always things that you take with you. But, and maybe it's something to do with age, because I'm nearly 50, but there comes a moment where you're going, this is not benefiting me or that person if I
mm.
carry this further along. It's just not.
Now, I'm a personal trainer. For the majority of my income, I'm a personal trainer.
Mhm.
Um, and out of 11 clients, 10 of them are
Mhm.
female, and they're all over the age of 50. So I have 10 female clients over the age of 50.
Mhm.
Because I clearly have a target audience of my style of personal training or my style of
Yeah.
coaching. I have learned how to navigate those waters. a little bit better than I have 25-year-old men in the gym. When I'm talking to a 25-year-old male, ironically, I feel like I've got nothing in common. Like,
Yeah.
I genuinely don't feel like I've got anything in common. Whereas I've learned to be very direct, because funny enough, the reason I bring up the fact that I have 10 women over the age of 50 is that I tend to find they're very direct. They know what they're after. They set goals. They are all into strength training, which is amazing. Like every single one of them, they're done with being a cardio bunny. They want to be strong as an ox, and they want to look good, and they want to add some muscle. And I'm like, hell yeah, the industry's catching up. Like the media and the
Finally.
market, and it's catching up. You know, this massive market of people that really do need it are in the gym. But because of that, they're very goal orientated. They're very direct. They will tell you if you're not doing your job properly, or they'll tell you. And because of that, I respond really well to that. As a trainer and a coach, I like people being direct. Like I never did. I never did. Growing up, that was not a thing for me. I like nuance. I like reading between the lines. But now I'm like, fuck me, just tell me what you want. Tell
It's the
me what you
shortcut.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forget all the faff. Forget all the Britishness. Forget all that like politeness and let me get
The
that for you.
cultural. Yeah, the cultural. So all the cultural rubbish that we add on to everything as well. It's like, yeah.
I talked to someone about this recently. Israeli client I have, Karen. We do this thing with our language where we absorb emotion into our language rather than demonstrate emotion. It's written and woven into the way that we talk. It's really weird. Our language has taken on this form of emotion for us, so we don't have to show it. And it's even things like, rather than, like, there was a Russian guy on holiday a few years ago, and he just stood there, opened the door, and our family went through, and we went, oh, thank you. And he went, just nodded. And then an English family did the same thing the day later, and the dad went, oh, let me get that for you. It's, look what I'm doing for you. And that's written into our language. And it's very kind of like, look at how great I am. Like, but I don't want to tell you, and I'm doing it for you. And I found that in my coaching, I've gradually had to erode away at that British kind of style of, oh, would you like me to load your bar for you? Would you like me to, like, it's narrowing down and getting a lot more streamlined. It's like more clear cut. And when I speak to the Americans that I do, that's the way that they operate. It's very kind of like, boop, clear cut. Yeah, which I think works well with CrossFit trainers, the methodology.
I mean, culturally, the methodology is grounded within the North American culture. Yeah. But it doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't fit the cultures around the world. It just dictates how maybe we deliver it. And it's funny what you say about directness, because I'm actually Irish and I moved to the Netherlands 20 years ago now. So I've been Dutchified, as my Irish friends would say, and I'm becoming a lot more direct. And the use of language and the impact on how we communicate with each other is huge. This is going to sound weird. We don't say please and thank you here in the Netherlands. It's like, can I have the milk? We don't add the please in. The can already says that we're asking it nicely. We're not saying give me the milk, which in turn means when I go back to Ireland and my family goes back to Ireland, we have to remember our please and thank yous, because culturally it's seen very different. But to add in even another layer of complexity, because I'm from Ireland, we have our own Irish language there, and it is very, very different to English. And so that has influence on how we use English as well. So, for example, when it comes to emotions, in English we say, I am sad. In Irish, we say, sadness is upon me. Yeah, it's more like a coat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I prefer that.
It's not like, this is my being. But we took a sidestep. But these are all small things that can make a big difference to how we communicate with our members. Because if we're not aware of what we're bringing to the table, usually we're in roughly the same cultures, but especially if you're in an expat area or stuff like that, if you're not aware what you're bringing to the table and how that can be perceived by others, you could end up with a huge miscommunication.
Yeah. But I like the fact that that language, it's upon me. It's not you. And I think we, I hate passive voice. Yeah. It's the ability to discern between our emotions, our current state of affairs, not being us. So the way that we feel at the moment, that's not us. It's just the way that we feel right there and then. And going back to what you said about virtuosity and the way that we coach and the style, and even if we're tired, you hear it in different guises. You have to be the clown, you have to paint on the smiley face, and no matter how you're feeling, and you've got to entertain, you've got to educate, you've got to inspire the people in the class. That kind of trifecta of what makes a good coach that we talked about a few years back. The way that you're feeling right now isn't you. That's just the way that you feel right now. And we have to, if you've got the ability to step away from yourself and say, right, this temporary feeling that I have towards this class or this person is going to go past. It's like road rage. It's going to pass. This too shall pass.
Exactly.
And I wanted to get that tattooed, by the way, last year. And then someone said it's the most used tattoo on planet Earth. So I said, probably not. But so, okay, here's what we talked about earlier. A little while ago, I put a video out saying about frustrations with clients and members at the gym. What do you think? What do you think to that question? Was it a futile question? Was it a question that said more about me than it does the client and the members?
So you're asking a very closed question, so I'm going to answer yes, because it's your interpretation of a situation. Yeah, I'm not hearing what they're saying. I'm hearing what you're saying, and it's valid because that is what you were feeling in the moment. And I think it was specifically about the members who frustrated you, the types of members that frustrated you. Yeah. And it's okay to be frustrated as long as you recognize that you're being frustrated, that you recognize why you're being frustrated, that you try and make sure the next time you're less frustrated. That's it. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being frustrated. We're all human beings. Yeah?
Yes.
And people are people, and we're difficult.
Yep, they are. Have you heard of misophonia?
Yes.
Okay. I have a very strong case of that. And so much so, I can't be in the same room with my kids eat certain foods because I get
not
really
possible. Then I'm going to share my son and crisps the same. So I understand from the other side. Just can't. Yeah.
It's unexplainable, is inexplicable, and it is unavoidable. It is a wiring of the brain that if anyone has ever had road rage, it is like a real strong anger that goes towards this just innocent little kid eating a carrot, right? Could turn me into like Hyde.
Yeah.
And I know that I've got to walk away. I can't be in that room at that point. Now, I've worked on this and I found ways of dealing with it. And I don't want to avoid it. I don't want to have to leave the room every time my kids eat food because it's just not sustainable and it's not the right way. So I'm well aware of a position where it's I'm aware in that moment, I am fully aware that that's on me because other people are just sat there. I can't figure out why they aren't getting annoyed. How can you sit there and listen to that thing crunching away or tapping or a dripping tap or whatever it might be?
And on the other side, they're going, but Dad, why is this annoying you so much? What is
Yeah,
going on here? Yeah, they
yeah,
also
yeah,
don't
yeah.
understand.
They can't
Yeah.
understand it. And
Mm-mm.
the thing is, I'm well aware it's a me thing. That
Mhm.
doesn't make it okay at the time. But
No, I'm not saying being frustrated at members is okay. I'm just saying we have
mm,
to recognize it happens.
yes,
Yeah.
and do you know what? There was a guy called Ty. I can't remember his surname. He's an Australian guy, had a big old beard, and he ran this thing called the Affiliate Solution. And this is probably 2014, 2015. He came to the UK and he did a couple of weekend seminars, and I went to one. And
Mhm.
up until that point, we had been doing, when people were late, burpee penalties. So it was like if they came in, it was 10 burpees for every minute you were late.
Yeah.
All right. People up to 5 minutes. Um, and then it was, if you're late, you stand on a box and the whole class does burpees whilst you watch so that you feel
Mm.
guilty. Right. And then this was up until about 2015, that it was just culturally something that had just been
It
passed
was
on from coach to coach.
I
It was just
remember
one of those
that.
things.
Yeah, it was normal.
And
Yeah.
and then he came and he said, look, these paying adults come for the best hour of their day and you're
Mhm.
shaming them for being late. Now, imagine if a pilot at an airport, if you ever got an aeroplane, if the aeroplane needs to take off and you hold the doors open for someone that's late, let them on the plane and then punish them whilst you take off, does that seem rational? Or do you just say, the gates are closed, you can't come in? It was like, don't shame and punish people for something you're letting them
Yeah.
get away with. Like, you need to fix it yourself, be accountable to that.
Mhm.
And from that weekend on, I've never dished out burpee penalties for people for being late. That was
Yeah.
such a obvious
I
thing once he'd explained it.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't punish people for being late, but I kind of do. I'll say afternoon if they come in at like 5 past the hour and it's the class. I'll say afternoon if it's like 6:05 a.m. They go, oh, yeah. But I
Mm.
can't help myself. But I need to make sure that they know that that I'm aware that they've
Yeah.
snuck in, that they've snuck in the class.
See,
That,
and this is where I'd argue maybe
mm,
also viewing it from a different point of view. They've
yeah,
made it to your class. Celebrate that they're there. That
yeah,
obviously something's now. There's two different types of people. There's the people who are habitually late.
yes, that
That's one
person.
case.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
there's
yeah.
those people who, something's obviously happened and they're those 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes late. They
Mm,
still showed up.
yeah.
Yeah. So why not celebrate that they showed up?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. The people, it's always the thing is every gym, everyone listening to this, everyone that's got goes to a class, there'll be that one person that is habitually the late person. And
Yeah.
the other thing for that is that they clearly do that in their whole life. It's not just you.
Yeah.
Don't take
No.
it personal. It's just their character flaw.
Mm.
um, but
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. And again, I don't want to get stuck on the fact that people are late for stuff because it's just part
No.
of human.
But
Like you said, we're human.
I would like to dig into, if you're okay with it, the members that frustrate you, because I know
Mm,
who I saw the post, so I know who you're referring to. But I think there are two types of members that a lot of coaches and owners get frustrated with. Would you
mm.
be up for that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, of
So
course.
Jake, Nate, let's have a look at one of them. What type of members frustrate you?
The uncoachable ones,
Um.
the people that don't want to be coached,
Okay. And what for you means uncoachable?
ignoring cues, um, answering back, skipping warm ups because they think they're too good for it. Um,
Mhm.
they they don't scale adequately. They
Mhm.
won't listen. They won't listen to reason and experience in coaching. I guess is what
Mhm.
I mean by uncoachable.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I think.
They are not willing to take your advice. They're not open for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And would you mainly class them as maybe the ones who have the big egos? As in they have confidence that they can do it, that performance is more important to them than progress?
Do you know what? No, I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
and I'm not gonna make any hint or insinuations towards this
Yeah.
person because I've got a couple of people in mind that I'm talking about from the last 15 years, right? These people, they aren't the top performers. They aren't elite. They're not competitors. They're not the people that do competition
Mm.
that I'm thinking of. Um, their traits outside of the gym are control freaks.
Hmm.
They are controlling characters in their personal
Yeah.
lives. And I think maybe that bleeds in. And it might be something as simple as all they have to do is feel like at some point in that hour they've made the decision to do something instead of you, the coach. It
Hmm.
feels that way. It feels like it's
Yeah. An
a bit,
autonomy issue.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Then because
Mm.
this is where I always love having these discussions about what our feelings are about other people and what we see and assume and things like that. And because I would wonder a bit further, well, why do they come to the gym? Why have they chosen CrossFit? Why this? What is it about this that makes them keep coming back? Because they obviously keep coming back. Yeah. Even
Mm.
though you feel like they're uncoachable, they're still coming back. You're still giving them an experience that they want. So what is it that it is? And then you can go a bit deeper in that if you know what that is and
Yeah.
you lean even more into what they want, they're more
Mm.
likely to be open for what they need.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
you even give them more autonomy, I'm not solutions. It's just like being
Yeah.
curious, trying to dig a
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
deeper,
Yeah.
yeah, and trying to figure out. Okay, well, let's feel in that this person wants control. We can go down
Mm.
this route. How could we give them control? How could we give them choices?
Mm. You could, in your literally language, say, "How would you like to approach this workout today? How would you like to scale
Yeah,
this workout today?" They feel like
what's
they get the
your
choice.
focus? Yeah, what's your
Mm.
focus today? We have a skills section and a workout section. Where would
Mm.
you like your focus today? What skill would you like to work on today?
Yeah.
We have heavy deadlifts, but if you want to work in technique, we can also work in technique.
Mm. Yeah. Give
Yeah.
them a little bit of ownership of the situation. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Because
that's
usually, yeah, but that, and I mean, that's one thing that often as coaches now, ego, we all need ego. When I talk about ego, it's a sense of self that
yeah.
drives confidence and motivation and competitiveness and a belief in our ability to be able to do things. And as coaches, we have ego to be able to stand in front of the class and go, this is it. Yeah. Ego is something we all need. However, ego as coaches can sometimes get in our way when
Mm.
when we need to be right or we need to be liked or we avoid hard conversations or things like that.
Mm.
And maybe we see it as over queuing or over controlling or you know, not having that discussion with somebody that they need to take weight off the barbell because they still want conflict. We don't want conflict, stuff like that. So we have to be
Mm.
aware of the role our own ego has in all of these interactions.
Yes.
Where's my ego getting in the way of this? I know certainly for as a coach, I I'm going to tell you the time as a young CrossFit coach where I was cueing this guy. I think it was Cindy. I don't know. It was one of those workouts, Cindy Mary type thing workout.
Mm.
I was cueing this guy, getting him to wanting to move more effectively and efficiently and blah blah blah. And about halfway through the workout, he just called me a bitch. He said, "You're just such a bitch," and I was like, "I pity you," blah blah blah. And obviously, in reflection, is like I was not giving him what he needed in that moment, and what he needed was to move. He'd
Mm.
had a horrible day at work. He needed to move. He knew he wasn't. He was going to do less reps because he was going to burn out and blah blah blah. But he needed to move,
Mm.
and I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. But my ego was, I need to make him to move better. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
my role. I need to be right.
Yeah.
I need to be the one controlling this.
Yeah. It's all right, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, right? So it's a fear of your authority being eroded in front of the group.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, if this one person in front of the group of 15 basically, effectively, he doesn't say it, but they say, no, not doing what you're saying. For me, that's like the whole class will go, oh, he's not in charge. All right, cool. And you've lost it. But I have to remember, they're not a pack of dogs. I'm not the alpha
They might
dog.
act like that sometimes, but
Yeah, maybe a herd of cats, but not dogs. They're paying members of the public that want to be in your gym and want to train, and they're paying to be there. And you've got to remember that. And they have come for the best hour of the day, and they've come to move. In a class of 10 people, you'll have one person that's there for ultimate performance. You'll have probably 7 that are there because they like coming and they want to be part of the community and they're developing skills. You'll have one person that's kind of new and is just completely learning the ropes. And you'll have the last person there that is just there to cling on for dear life. They're there just because they've got nowhere else to go and they want therapy. And it's your job as a coach and as a trainer to discern between those people at the beginning of each session, which is why it's so important that you get there 15 minutes early. You welcome them in the gym. You make the environment hospitable for people. You find out during the, you find out during the briefing. You have a look around. We've got that eye for seeing if someone's standing different, if they're looking around the gym differently, if they're wearing shabby clothes, if they're they're late. All those little cues that we get and those feelings.
Yeah.
And then during the warm-up, walking around and just checking in with a couple of people, just making sure that they're not, if they're off, you just make sure that they're, they're fighting fit. And
it's okay.
Yeah. And I think...
I think you're right, because I think one of the things, a lot of the CrossFit courses around the world are focused on teaching, seeing, correcting. And very little is focused on how do we build relationships? How do we understand the person standing in front of us? And I think you're right. We need to be able to notice all the small things, and we need to be able to do quick check-ins in the class. We need to build up our relationships to the point where we don't ask them, oh, how are you? Because everyone just gives a socially acceptable answer of, oh, I'm all fine, fine today. But maybe you ask different questions like, what's your energy level today? Yeah. Do you want to just move today, or you're here to, balls to the wall, whatever expression you want to use. That you can dig a bit deeper going, but how is it with you in the here and now, and how to get there quickly? Because that then dictates everything else in that class. It will dictate how we cue somebody, what our focus is on, how we're going to give our briefing. Do we describe the 5 different scaling options for whatever, but we see the class in front of us and we know, well, only 2 of them are needed. Having those moments of understanding why people are there in the now helps us adapt everything we do for the rest of the hour and helps us meet every athlete where they are at. But it doesn't happen overnight, Jake.
No.
This is the thing. It happens with little step over little step. Because I hear coaches say to me, yeah, but I have 12, 16 people in an hour, blah, blah, blah. I was like, that's fine. But even these micro check-in moments, these 30 seconds built up over time make a huge difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
That if you're asking Mary, how's your energy level today? And she's going medium, know what that looks like for her.
Yep.
You know what she needs in the workout.
Yeah, performance expectations based on that. And I'm quite fortunate in my other role. I work for the Institute of Sport on the Isle of Man. I work with some of the athletes aged 16 to 24. And every single session they come in, we do a wellness check and we do a CMJ. So we do counter movement jumps. So we look at their data, the ability to jump. How are they today? We ask them what they've eaten today, with all that kind of thing, because it's more of an S&C scientific approach to the process.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I kind of use some of that with conversations in the gym with the CrossFit with the CrossFit members. But one thing that this comment, if they feel successful in regular life, they struggle to be told by just a trainer. I do, and this is me being guilty of this. I do sometimes. That is massively my insecurities. I feel that way sometimes. I feel like people are looking down on me because I work in a tracksuit and I work in a gym and I'm just a trainer. Sometimes that thought does cross my mind. You've got a high-level accountant you've got a lawyer coming in, a barrister, you've got someone that jet sets around the world, and they're coming in, and you're just a trainer.
Yeah.
But this just a trainer has the ability to perfectly put a level playing field between people that collect the bins, people
Yeah.
that have got their own private jet, people that are school
Yeah.
teachers, people that are other owners.
Mhm.
Everyone has a level playing field in our arena, and I treat everyone with exactly the same disdain and hate in that gym. Everyone's treated the same.
Everyone's
Doesn't
treated
matter who.
equally. Doesn't matter how. It's
Yeah,
equal. It's good.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I remind myself of the fact that these people, no matter where they come from, they trust you with their body.
With their help. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think it's like kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy for ourselves. If we tell ourselves we're just a trainer, we're going to end up acting just a trainer and not fulfilling our true scope of practice and our role and our capabilities as such. And we're just
yeah,
going to erode our own beliefs in ourselves.
yeah. I mean, we look at the sickness, wellness, fitness continuum. We've talked about this a lot, but you get the sickness industry, the hospitals and the surgeons and the doctors. They take people from sick to well. We in the health industry take people from well to health, and to fit,
Mm-hmm.
and to performance and to proper health. I feel like this is in my head. I feel like we don't get enough respect in our industry because there are some charlatans in the industry, and that's true. Like the social media has brought that on a lot. I feel like we aren't given the respect that we deserve in terms of what we truly do for humanity. I don't feel like it's quite there yet, except the people that already
Yeah.
come to the gym, the people that already come into the gym. Yeah,
I would argue we don't respect ourselves enough. We're the ones where the problem starts. We don't see the value that we're truly adding. We don't see
yeah,
that we are a form of healthcare professional. We don't see ourselves that way. If we
yeah,
don't see the value in ourselves, why should other people see the value in ourselves?
yeah. And he's right. David's right. Victim. It's victim
Yeah.
mindset. It's, oh, people don't love me. And it's true.
No,
It's
but we don't love
absolutely true.
ourselves.
Yeah. We
I'm going
we
to
should
ask you,
believe in that.
why? Why, as a coach? Why? I'm sorry, affiliate owners. I might annoy you now by saying this, but why, as a coach, should I accept minimum wage to change somebody's life?
Yep.
Why is that normal? Why is it? I do a survey on part of CrossFit Benelux about what the average salaries here and things like that. You can earn more in the McDonald's than the average CrossFit coach. Yeah, that's a
That is mad.
serious problem. And it's not just a problem from the affiliate owner's point of view, it's also a problem from the member's point of view. Yeah. If they're not valuing the big difference that coaches are making to their lives, then they're always going to assume that CrossFit's too expensive.
Yep.
Yeah. But if they don't understand that, this one person standing in front of them is changing their life, it's keeping them longer from going to their GP or to the specialist or whatever, and what a win that is. But also, as coaches, we don't see that either.
No.
We don't truly see that we are making a long-term difference in someone's health, that we're improving their quality of life over the long term. We don't deep down really, really believe that, to the point where we believe we should be paid that way and we should be valued that way.
Do you think, okay, question, do you think, it might be a yes here, okay? Do you think that CrossFit HQ and CrossFit Ecosphere or Sphere does enough to tell the front line that message?
Now, I believe the CrossFit Medical Society are doing a good job in trying to get that
In the
message
US?
out.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they've been to the Coaches Congress in Europe and stuff like that, and but they are very much America focused. But I think there's more to be said. But I would also argue that CrossFit HQ don't target their messaging towards coaches. They target their messaging either towards affiliate owners or members.
Yes.
And I will argue that they miss this whole part in the middle, the people who work on the front line. And yes, coaches, sorry, that's my dog saying hi. And yes, coaches need to have the level 1, another level 2, and so on and so forth. But they're never marketed at. They're never, CrossFit training talks about movement and stuff like that. But there's so much more. Does that make sense, Jake?
Yeah,
I think it's a missed opportunity.
I couldn't agree more. If you see, so one of, and this is how unique this was, and it just happened to be Scott Panchik. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago now. There was an advert that went out during the Open live, and it was him and Henry. It was him and his client Henry, and it was showing the value of the coach on the ground doing the work. And for me, and it might be confirmation bias, it might be because that's my role and I like to see other people doing what I do, right? And an acknowledgement. But I feel like if you look at, I don't know, a Halfords advert on telly, right? Or if you look at, I don't know, McDonald's adverts or whoever the hell other company you do, Apple, Mac, whoever it might be, who do they show? They show the people serving the bag. They show the person in Halfords fixing the bike in the front under that funny tent gazebo thing they've got. The Apple store, they show the Apple what geniuses they call doing it. They're showing the people that are actually applying what the service is.
Yeah.
I don't think we see that enough from any of the materials that go out from CrossFit. I don't think so.
No, and I think I understand why, because their marketing is, I mean, it's an affiliate model. They're there to support the affiliates.
Yep, 100%.
That's their role. Yeah. It is just that, okay, then what do we do with all these coaches? That's the question. Yeah. How can we weaponize them?
Is it on the affiliates to do that?
So, and this is an interesting discussion. I would argue it's both affiliates and HQ, because where are their future affiliate owners going to come from?
Yep.
Yeah. And if they truly want their affiliates, to, you know, rising tide rises all ships, they have to give the affiliates the tools to help with the coaches as well.
Yes.
And not just teaching, scene correcting, all the other stuff. And they're getting there. They've got lots of lovely videos about movement.
Yes.
But as we were just talking about, it's much more than movement. It's this bigger picture. It's this health and longevity picture. I wonder how many coaches ever ask about people's blood pressure or other health measurements, stuff like that.
Yeah. And again, I'm not fully convinced, and I'm not fully on board, and I'm not 100% sure I know exactly what it is. But I guess that's where Metfix kind of fits into this equation.
That is certainly the messaging I've been seeing is along those lines.
Yeah, about the base of the pyramid, the fundamentals of nutrition, metabolic health, which was in essence is what CrossFit is.
Was method, yeah.
And I guess that's where they fit in. Like I said, I'm really interested this year to explore that. They're doing a seminar in London in June or July, so I'm hoping to go there with see what Carl and the gang are doing. But no,
and I think this is the other thing. We shouldn't be afraid of Metfix or or other methodologies or things like that.
No,
I really believe, and this is where people, is Hyrox going to, you know, impact CrossFit, blah blah blah. And do you know what? If it gets more people moving, great. Great. Because maybe this is the first time someone's actually picked up something heavier than a 1 kilo dumbbell. Great. And maybe it plants a seed and they get intrigued and they want to do more. Yeah. These are all opportunities.
There's not going to be many defectors away from CrossFit towards Hyrox. And even if there are a 1%, there will be 5 or 10% of people that start with Hyrox and then come to CrossFit. Overall, it's massive net gain for CrossFit, Hyrox, hugely.
And to be honest, for society, because the more we normalize movement, the more normal it will be for somebody to come to a CrossFit box.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Because I've had I've worked with an affiliate where they had a couple of junior members who stopped coming because they were bullied, because it wasn't normal to go out running and stuff like that. It wasn't normal to go barbells. Yeah, exactly. And we forget that we live in our bubbles, and we forget there's a huge part of society where it is not normal to move. It's not normal. And I think we should admire, or at least support from the distance, anything that gets people moving.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
if people start moving, then they'll appreciate how important it is to their lives, and they'll be even more open to trying something like CrossFit.
Couldn't agree more. Now, Farron, you'll be pleased to know, I am doing my L3 in May.
Love it.
I was
How are
supposed to
you
do it in
feeling about it,
December.
Jake?
Hey?
How are you feeling about it?
All right. Now, based on
Hmm.
everything that we've just talked about the last, so I did my L1 originally in 2012. I've become I've put as a priority mannerisms, culture, psychology, like the way that I coach, inductions, like the being on the floor. I've massively neglected technical development and knowledge development. I've picked, obviously, I've done close to 22,000 hours now of coaching classes. I've picked up a hell of a lot along the way, but it's nowhere near refined as much as I need it to be. I haven't got the technical know-how. Obviously, ask me any of the girl wards, I'll know it. Ask me how it feels. I know how to program a 6-week cycle for it, a compound, conjugate, blah, 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 blah. But what does a block look like? I can't remember. Like I need to refine. That's why I've got printouts of the L1 and the L2. Yeah, sorry.
I know. And I will argue the level 3 is not a knowledge test. It is an application of the methodology test. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
How can you figure out the best option based on the CrossFit methodology? And there may be one or two, there may be a couple of knowledge questions in there, but there's so many questions. Most of them are not knowledge questions.
Okay.
They're like, as a coach, what do you see? As a coach, what option would you choose? As a coach. Yeah.
Okay.
And so
that's interesting.
And I get it. If you're confronted with all these articles and you think, oh my God, I have to remember all the details of the articles. No, the idea of the articles is to spark your curiosity into understanding, oh, I need to learn more about the running, about the pose method. Oh, nutrition. Do you know, nutrition isn't my thing. I need to dig a bit deeper. Maybe I also need to do the online nutrition course. Oh, seeing might not be my thing. I should do the spot the floor course. Tip, do the spot the floor course the night before at least. That's a good tip. But if you know your CrossFit level 1, if you not only know it, but you live it every day you coach, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Okay. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that I'm not living it.
You've done, you've said things should be observable, measurable, and repeatable and things like that. So it's deep inside your psyche. Yeah. Mechanics, consistency, intensity, all those things are there. And you apply them every day, Jake. You do.
Yeah.
So, I think a lot of people get scared with the level 3 because it's maybe the first time they've done a formal exam or a test in a very long time. Yeah. And it can feel like, oh my God, this is nearly a 4-hour test with however many questions in it and stuff. There's no such thing as failure. It's just information. So if you don't pass it the first time, you've experienced it, you know the style of questions, you know the areas, they give you feedback, what areas you didn't do well in. Yeah. So you can learn from it. There's nothing to fear from doing the test.
No.
It's like there's nothing to fear from doing an open workout.
Yeah. I'm like, the open workouts don't faze me whatsoever because I know that it's just a workout that has got a stamp and it's, I remember. But the exam, for me, I was terrible at school with exams.
Yeah,
like
but
terrible.
It's not a school exam. It's not a school exam. This is about sitting down with a computer and the computer asking, what do you think is the best option? And they have a right answer for them, for the CrossFit methodology. And this is the other thing I'll say is, even if you fail a level 3, it doesn't mean you're a bad coach.
Right.
It just means that maybe you haven't been able to translate the CrossFit methodology to the answers that they need or they're expecting. That's all.
Yeah. I guess and this is the value of doing it. It's to make you accountable. It's to refresh everything and remind you what you're doing and
Oh,
why it matters.
absolutely. Yeah, and it
Yeah,
also challenges us every now and then because some of the articles are scientific articles. Oh my God, I have to read
yeah,
this thing. Yeah,
yeah,
and it's like, okay, but it's also to make sure we're not scared of going and reading scientific articles. That if we
mm,
see one popping up, it's like, okay, I know I can read the abstract and maybe the discussion at the end, and I got a good idea of what's going on. I don't need to understand all the methodology and the deep, dark, nitty gritty details. I need to
mm.
understand what the message is.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
No?
And from someone that almost takes pride in the fact that I'm not too bothered about the sport, is that all I've got left is the methodology.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't know that, then I'm pretty much useless. So I've got to get it right. I've got to do it because it.
Yeah. No,
But
I understand the pressure in yourself. I understand.
yeah,
Yeah. Because it's like nearly a measurement of worth as such, if that makes sense. Yeah,
coming back
I
to
had
what I
that
talked
feeling
about
too.
earlier. Yeah,
Yeah. I was
yeah,
like, oh my God, what if I don't pass this level 3? But it's back to,
mm,
okay, if I don't pass it, then it just shows me the areas I need to work a bit on. That's all.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
No, I get that.
and that's the thing about CrossFit. It's such a broad methodology, including nutrition and including, technical details of movements and stuff and everything in between.
Mm,
And we can't all be specialists in all parts of it.
no,
Yeah.
no,
We
no,
can't
that's true.
nerd out in every single part of the methodology.
No, no, you can try, but you won't. You won't succeed.
Well, I don't
Oh,
think
good.
then you have then you don't have any time to actually coach people, I think, if you nerd out all the time.
No, 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 no. But
No.
again, and this is the thing that I've come to terms with. We all have our roles in the CrossFit world. Like
Absolutely.
some people are fully dedicated in media. They're the best people on that we have that produce the best content to demonstrate the sport of CrossFit. Some people need to just stay in a gym and they need to coach. Some people
Yeah.
want to have a brand that is filling the gyms with hand grips so that people don't slip off the bars. There's so many different roles that we have in our
Absolutely.
thing, and
Hmm.
it's important that we have to remember what we do matters, but you've got to determine that. You've got to decide what part you're doing, because there's no
Yeah.
point in trying to be a broad spectrum approach to everything, because it doesn't work. You're going
No.
to be really good at nothing. So and I think that's where the L3 comes in for me, is that it's a
Yeah.
the people that I know that have got the L3, like yourself, like Gareth,
Mm.
that I talked to in Birmingham, who's the
Mm.
affiliate manager in the UK. The people that I know that have had the L3 that praise it and talk about the value of it, they're the type of coaches that really understand what CrossFit actually is. For
Mm.
me, CrossFit isn't. It's everything. It's all of it, and this is part of the point I'm trying to make here, which is long and convoluted. But CrossFit means all of it. It doesn't mean the bit that I like the best. It is all of it.
I hate you. Not that I hate nutrition. I'm not the biggest fan of learning anything about nutrition blocks and stuff like that.
Mm,
But I had to because it's also the bottom of the pyramid.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like, okay,
yeah,
this is essential. Yeah, I mean, I
mm,
could nerd out the whole time on ring muscle ups, how to coach them, or how to
mm,
coach coaches. But that's
yeah,
not going to help. That's if I don't understand the bigger picture, I also then
mm,
don't understand how I can specialize in that bigger picture.
yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. No, 100%.
mm.
Well, Farron, thank you for your time. I've gone well over the hour that
Oh.
I asked you for. I would,
I'm glad we
I
got a
would,
chance to chat. So it was
yes,
all
and I
good.
can't wait.
Yeah,
I'm going to Berlin in
I'll
3 weeks.
I'll be there in Berlin. I'll be there.
Amazing,
So
amazing. Do you know what I
it'd be
need?
great
I
to
need
catch
to
up
find
then.
someone to walk into Berlin on Saturday morning at 6 o'clock in the morning with me, because I've never been to Berlin ever, and I've got
Oh,
I've got this I've got this idea that I'm going to get up early on Saturday morning, because all three of my kids are going to be with my wife for that weekend, which is scary. Um, and and I want to walk in because everyone that I've spoken to says Berlin is like one of the most beautiful cities on earth. You need to go around, and
absolutely.
and I want to go and I want to walk, and I don't think I'm going to get much time to be able to do that. So Saturday morning,
Yeah.
I'm going to try and organise like a little bit
I
of a
love it.
walk into
So
Berlin
there
in the
might
morning.
but we might have a go ruck session on the Saturday morning.
Oh, okay. I'll speak to Mac. All right.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
bring my ruck.
I'm going to safely say, because
Mhm.
I will be without child, I will be without dog, I will
Mhm.
not be getting up at 6:45 or earlier than that time. I will be enjoying my sleep in that tiny bit longer until I hear the
Yeah.
barbells crash in the hotel floor. But yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah.
So
I can't wait. I can't wait. But it'd be awesome to catch up, and I promise
definitely.
I'll crowbar myself into when you're busy and off your feet with people, talking to them.
That'll be
But
lots of time.
thank you so. You're really, really valuable to our whole industry. So thank
Thank
you for
you.
everything that you're doing. I can't wait to catch up further, and I would love to have you on again at some point to
Love to.
try and navigate me.
And I'd love it just to add a call to action to anybody watching or listening to this. Reach
Mm-hmm.
out to the coaches and affiliate owners around you. Connect, meet up for a beer, whatever. Invite them over to your box for a workout, whatever it is. We're not on islands. We need to support each other because we're not going to create a sustainable CrossFit ecosystem without working together.
Well said.
Thank you.
Thank you, Farron. Thank you very much for joining me, and thank you everyone for
My
watching.
pleasure.
Whether it's now or in the future, I will be back next on Thursday morning. So I'll see you